Hi guys, welcome to Robin Hood Diaries today. Hope you're having a good one. It's what is this, Black Friday, so I would say good Friday, say have a good Friday, but then we're on there. Although we're going to be touching on a little bit of that, So today I tagged as basically Rosemary's Baby. Everybody knows the poster. Okay, so thanks for joining me today. I'm finding a little enthusiasm on today's topic because I realized that I may have been a little misleading in the preview because it kind of said categorically, objectively, like I'm going to go production design, costume, like the Academy would, right? Categorically. Nope. Sorry. Surprise! Okay. Rosemary's Baby being the perfect film. Maybe let's just say within its time, at the very least. I'll give you that. Okay, everybody knows, it's the first mainstream horror, whatever. Yes, Alfred Hitchcock did it in 1960-ish, right? Off the top of my head. But that was straight horror. That was straight scare your ass off, right? Okay, Rosemary's Baby was different in that sense that you've all heard about it being the first mainstream horror blending drama and all that stuff. And yes, it does meet all those categories. If you want me to go down the list, I can certainly go through production design, performance, suspense, how it meets a lot of genre characters. It folds in both, honestly, comedy, horror, drama, action, suspense, and terror at the end, of course. So if you haven't seen Rosemary's Baby, spoiler alert, well, you gotta know it. Okay, so here we go. 1968 is when this was made. It was an adaptation of a book, and it was true to the book letter for letter by and large. It was an adaptation, but it was essentially this phenomenal book that was gifted to Polanski and also gifted back to the book by Polanski taking it. So again, in all those, sort of, I don't want to say superficial ways, but in other ways, of course, it's, it can be debatably perfect, and it's been studied extensively. There are courses you can take, probably on the East Coast, that address the film, that are consumed by the film. Okay, Rosemary's Baby, starring Mia Farrow, John Cassavetes, and Cassavetes, whatever, and Ruth Gordon, who won an Oscar for her performance in this film, who brings the comedy into it, and a bunch of other folks. So, let's move past it being the perfect film in terms of it being a cinematic masterpiece, which it is. Every detail in that film is perfect. It's appropriate. It's where it needs to be for a reason, much like Hitchcock. So I'm not going to get into that, film theory dork that I am, but I would lay some of Polanski's work up against Hitchcock's work, and I think it would meet its match mutually. Okay, 1968, let's go back, let's remember, do a teeny little bit of diving into history, high school history. 1968, right? Let's put it into context both politically and sociologically and societally, and I don't know, and in terms of gender as well. Big, huge part of it, as well as religion and all sorts of other things. Okay, so you know the story, right? And there's all kind, it also, I'll just quickly tell you that on top of everything else, it is unique in that I can't think of any other film that created a phenomenon within its audience to this day, and that is called the Mandela effect. It was coined by a woman who was under the impression for years that Nelson Mandela had died in prison in the 1980s when he hadn't. He ended up becoming president of South Africa, right? Right.